Okay, so my name's Brad. Um, I'm the program administrator. Um, I'm mostly there in the afternoons, not there much in the morning. And my main job, I work for US Sailing, which is the national governing body for the sport. We run the Olympic team. We certify all the instructors and the people that run the races. I'm in the education department. I'm an instructional designer, so I build the instructional materials that certify people, and also like student material. So that's my normal day job. And it's East Coast, so I kind of get out early and able to get on the water and help out with Stillwater. So if you're emailing somebody, it's probably me. So once again, my name's Brad. Uh,
Carlene.
I've been
Yes,
doing
you
it
said my
for
name.
what
Who's
what?
Carlene?
Oh, I've been doing it for probably over 20 years, and did college sailing, high school sailing, all that kind of stuff. So um, that's kind of me in a nutshell. Um, So today's this is the Stillwater Yacht Club summer sailing, just in case anybody is in the wrong spot. So tonight's agenda is we're going to talk about who we are as an organization, our programs, what to kind of bring, the water comfort check, kind of what's going on there, check-in guidelines, and then drop off and pick up. And then we'll leave it open for questions towards the end. So feel free to ask those while we're on like I said, while we're in the middle of a slide or later on. I'm also watching the chat. So if you have a question you just want to ask in the chat, I will respond.
I'm stuck.
Oh. Okay. So we are very lucky to have a sailing program in Stillwater Cove, also Carmel Bay. The yacht club was founded around 1948. So it's been around for a long time. This sailing program has been around at least in the format that it's in since 2011. And it's slowly just been adding on more programs yearly, kind of, or every couple of years we revamp and modify what our offerings are. And so that's kind of where you're sailing. Um, so the team that you got behind you out there on the water with your kids or grandkids is we got Lily. She's the head instructor. Um, and Lily is a college student at MPC. She's been around, she's worked with the program before. She does a really good job. She's level one certified. All of our instructors are level one certified, which basically means that they've gone through like a 40-hour assessment on their sailing skills, their instructor skills, their safety skills, their power boating skills, um, so that they're safe on the water and they provide good instruction to your kids. So that's what a level one instructor is. They're also first aid CPR certified. Um, and they go through like concussion training and heat stroke training and all this other fun stuff and background screenings and stuff. So we got Lily. She's our head instructor. She's the person if you got a problem or if you have questions, she's a good person to find out. She's there day to day, in, out. The next kind of big instructors are Max. He just graduated Stevenson. Um, he is going to Charleston, and he's going to be on their sailing team. So that's really cool. They're a nationally ranked top 10 sailing program. So that's great. Then we have Dante, who is an MPC college student. Um, and he's actually a level two certified instructor. So he's super helpful. He's mostly doing our more advanced courses. Max is doing our FJ courses, which I'll get into what all those are. And then you got Andrew, Jimmy, and Patrick, who are doing mostly our Learn to Sail courses. Um, Andrew is a high school student, Jimmy's a college student at MPC, and Patrick is a high school student at Stevenson. Andrew's a high school student at Monterey. And then let's see, we got one assistant instructor named Elliot. He's been in the program before. He actually grew up in the program, and super great to have him back. He's a college student. And then we got 3 junior instructors. Um, they're they're people that are not old enough yet to be an instructor, but are taking afternoon programming. They're still learning to sail. They're in high school sailing. So that's June, who goes to Carmel High, Aaron, who goes to Stevenson High, and James, who goes to Pacific Grove High. So that's our team behind us. Let's keep on moving. So our programs are really built to be scaffolded. So build one off another. So you can go from sailing at 8 and stay in the sport through high school, basically is our goal ultimately. We know people fall off here and there at times, but that's kind of the goal overall. But it's also, we have programs that are here just to kind of help you explore being on the water too. So our programs are done morning and afternoon. Normally, our morning programs, our sail programs in the morning are more geared towards beginners and learn to sail. And afternoon are more geared towards our advanced sailors, because it's a lighter wind in the morning and more heavy wind in the afternoon.
What
Um,
up,
water
Tyler?
sports is in the afternoon. Um, So, our base level course, I can kind of go into this now. So like I said, there's morning and afternoon, and the times kind of fluctuate between them. So it's we'll go through all that coming up here in a second. Um, so our morning programming starts out with Learn to Sail Pico. The boats on the left here are 2-man boats that we stick 2 kids on. And we start out with 1 kid controlling the main, which is the sail, the big sail, and then 1 kid driving. And then they kind of switch and learn the opposite role. And then eventually we put a front sail on the boat, which is called the jib. And then 1 kid works the jib, 1 kid works the main and steers the boat. And then they switch. And that's kind of the basic work through that they go through over the week. There's 8 sessions. They're each 1 week. Non-members is roughly 380. You'll notice that the prices are kind of consistent throughout. 295 for members. That program starts June 10th and goes through August 2nd. Please note that 4th of July, we don't have camp, which I think is a Thursday this year. You're more than welcome to participate in a week before or a week after, or find another date that works for you. But you have to reach out to us if you're taking that week to make up that day that you're kind of missing. And if you have other questions about that, feel free to reach out. That program starts at 9:30, ends at 12:30. This is a great program if you're looking for an all-day kind of solution where you drop your kid off in the morning and pick them up at the end of work, maybe. This is a great program to kind of get them in learning to sail, and then they'll stay during lunch, and then they will go into the water sports program that we'll talk about in a second. This is really geared towards 8 to 11-year-olds. There's basically 2 instructors in this class and 1 junior instructor. So there's basically 2 kids per instructor, so really great ratio. So lots of learning, lots of support. So yeah, so that's Learn to Sail Pico. So feel free to ask questions, or we could talk about at the very end. Your next kind of step up after you've done Picos, or maybe you're an older sailor that's joining us at like age 10 or 11, or 12 or 13. is called FJ Development. This is just a little bit bigger boat, more power in the sails. Um, and same thing, two-person boat. This same cost structure, same time frame. It's 1 week. It's 9:30 to 12:30, and there's 6 sailors in this session as well. 4th of July, same concept. Um, this class goes a little bit further out into the bay. They learn how to rig boats a little bit more. The other ones are really easy to rig. These ones, putting the boats together, taking them apart, is part of sailing. And so that's what happens with these ones a little bit. Okay. And if you've taken the Learn to Sail class and Picos, it's a perfect transition into the FJ group. Okay, so the afternoon, we're there now. So youth water sports is kind of our mainstay. It's kind of the thing that started our sailing programs. And this is really geared towards kids testing out the waters for the first time, getting comfortable being out on the bay and being close to the water, in the water. So there's 3 activities. There's paddleboarding, there's kayaking, and then what we call sailing adventures. It's basically the kids are in the sailboat, a Capri 16, with the instructor. So they'll learn how to work the sails. They'll learn a little bit about driving, but they're not learning to sail like they are in the other program. They're just kind of learning to drive the boat a little bit here and there. This is 1 week. It's eight sessions total. Same price structure, same time, starts June 10th, ends August 2nd. The morning programs, if you notice, end at 12:30. This program starts at 1. So there's a 30-minute break for kids to kind of eat lunch and take a rest and chill out for a little bit. And then they go straight into water sports. It's about 10 kids per session, is kind of our golden ratio. It's ages 8 plus. And same thing about the 4th of July. And yeah, we'll go with that. Race 101 is really geared towards like high school sailors, and really actually more geared towards middle school sailors. It's somebody that has done FJ development maybe. It's middle school age range. They're sailing in the afternoon. It's 2 sessions, and they're each 2 weeks. It's $620 for non-members and $495 for members. The 2 sessions are July 1st through the 12th, or July 15th through the 26th. Those are your kind of date ranges. This program does start at 1:30. It gives us time for the water sports people to kind of get through all their stuff and then out on the water and doing activities. And then they end a little bit later at 4:30. It's 6 sailors per session. There's some wiggle room in there to add more if we fill up. Ages 12 to 18 is basically the age range for water sports. There really isn't like an extra day that you can do for this class, just FYI. This class, or the next class, is Junior Big Boat. It's 1 session, it's 3 weeks. It's basically high school sailors sailing on keel boats, which are bigger boats, as you can see. And first, they're kind of trained to work with an instructor on the boat to learn how to do all the parts of the boat. Then the instructor comes off the boat. The kids sail the boat by themselves. And then they start to learn to race a little bit. So that's kind of Junior Big Boat. $695 for non-members, $555 for members. It's 3 weeks. This is the only course that we do prorate, just FYI, because it is a 3-week window. And sometimes people can't make that work for their schedules. It's 1:30 to 4:30. It's 12 people maximum. And it's, like I said, high school age range, so 14 to 18. This is like the most advanced sailing that we have at Stillwater. And in this photo, you can actually see Max, one of the instructors, sailing, and then James is kind of there as well, kind of hidden a little bit behind Lyric's legs. Okay. So those are our programs over in a nutshell. What to bring is a wetsuit. You can rent a wetsuit through a, uh, Monterey Bay Kayaks or Adventures by the Sea. But my suggestion is just go on to Amazon and get the cheapest wetsuit in their size. They'll probably outgrow it by the next year, so you don't want to spend a lot of money on it. So normally having a full-length wetsuit is the most important. Was there a question? No, okay. Towel, spare change of clothes. So the shoes, old tennis shoes are really a good option. Flip-flops are fine. They can leave them on the dock when they go sailing. The best option is to go with like those shoes you used to buy at Rite Aid, the water shoes that are like used to be $10 before inflation. Those are probably your best bet for shoes because they can get wet, they can leave them on, they don't have to worry about them. Crocs are okay, those are fine as well. Reusable water bottles, super important to stay hydrated. Having snacks. There is for some of the programs, there are snack breaks. Like youth water sports has a snack break time. So it's really important that they have a little snack to eat. Sunscreen, and then sailing gloves for any of the advanced sailing afternoon program sailing, not the water sports, but the other ones. We provide life jackets. You can wear your own. We have kids' life jackets and adults and a mixture in between. So that's kind of what to bring on a general basis. The easiest thing to do is get your kid one of those like Rubbermaid bins or those like black bins with the yellow tops at like Costco or Home Depot. That way, when they want to take their wetsuit off and they're dripping wet, you can put the wetsuit in the box, close the lid, the box goes in the car. Now your car isn't all wet with a wetsuit. And it helps us keep the pier clean because we can stack all the boxes and keep it pretty clean at the pier. But you can always do a backpack. That's fine too. But normally, um, it's just nice to be able to take that wetsuit off and not have it be in your car. Normally coming to camp with your wetsuit on is like preferred, that you don't have to do that. A lot of kids will wear a bathing suit and then stick their wetsuit on over their bathing suit. So that's definitely an option too. It just takes time to get in your wetsuit and but they don't have to be in their wetsuit when they get there. So
They'd spend most of the time in their wetsuit or?
yeah, so they're probably going to spend most of their time in the wetsuit almost the whole time,
Okay.
especially water sports. Learn to sail. You're close enough to the water that you'll probably spend it in your wetsuit the whole time as well.
Okay.
And the other nice thing is if you do get a cheap wetsuit, you can kind of cut a little triangle piece at the bottom of their neck, which helps them breathe a little bit more. It makes it more comfortable, and then you don't have to worry about it being used for surfing or something like that. Um, so, so the water comfort check, we used to do what's called a swim check. It's now a water comfort check. Um, Basically, we make sure they fit in their life jacket and that it's snug and that it's made for them. We never let anybody go on the docks or on any boats without life jackets. We don't even let them do the swim test without life jackets. Um, so the main idea is to make sure that when they jump in the water into the cove, that they don't freak out and that they can handle being in the water and that they'll be comfortable in the space. That's really what it's for. So basically they gotta jump in with their life jacket on. They gotta do some swimming, not very much. It's not very far. It's the length of the dock. It's maybe like 50 feet. And then they gotta tread water, but they're already in the life jacket and the wetsuit, so they're basically floating. So treading water is pretty simple. So this is kind of what treading water looks like. um, so the water comfort check's not too crazy. It is in the cove. So having that wetsuit that first day is pretty important because we can't and jump in without wetsuit, but then they're going to be cold all day, basically. So it's pretty important to be able to get them in their wetsuit or have a wetsuit. And you'll be surprised as soon as the kids know that the water's like fine, they're always want to be in the water. It's like a magnet to them. I mean, you can barely get them out sometimes. Drop off and pick up. So we do like to check-in isn't as important. You are able to like drive down to the pier and like open the window and have them hop out and walk down to the pier. But pickup is kind of more important. We need you to sign out. We have to see you and have them interact. Or for older kids, like high school kids, or middle school kids, they can, if they are members, can go up to the beach club. But we got to know that from the parent that we can let them go to the beach club. Um, so you're if you don't live in Pebble Beach, your name will be given to the gate to basically for a gate pass so you can get into Pebble Beach without paying or anything. Um, Parking's kind of a weird thing. And you'll be getting an email the week before of kind of how the logistics are going to work. But basically, there's not much parking. And so the morning programs, this will all be in an email, but the morning programs, they can drop off at the beach club, but most likely your pickup will be up at the tennis courts, which is kind of the top of that screen. There's a little red line that shows where we will walk. So at the end of the day, we'll probably walk with your kids up to the tennis courts and then you'll pick them up there. Um, and then for
I'm
the,
sorry,
yeah.
I missed that. Was that after the afternoon session or the morning?
So how it kind of works is the crunch time for parking is between 12 and 2 o'clock.
Okay,
So most if you're dropping off or picking up in that window, we need to, we'll most likely be doing it at the tennis courts. You'll get an
okay,
email the week before that says it specifically for you.
okay,
Some of it gets tailored to the weather. It sounds crazy. But if it's going to be foggy all week and cold, no one's going to the beach club. So parking's going to be fine.
okay,
Um, and if we have a lower turnout that week, it's easier to do the beach club. But if it's maxed out and it's going to be sunny all week, then we're going to have to do the drop off pickup between 12 and noon at the tennis courts.
okay. So that's different than years past,
That's different
right?
from years past.
Okay,
Um, and so the goal really is if you're doing morning programming, most likely you'll be picked up at the tennis courts. If you're doing afternoon programming, you'll be dropped off at the tennis courts, but then picked up at the pier where it says check in, check out. You'll get exact details of how to do it for you guys that week via email the week before or the week of. So that's kind of how it works. But basically, um, the pier, there's a loading and unloading at the very bottom, right next to the pier. You just go to the very end. That's the easiest thing to do. But the hard thing is there's no parking spots. So there's nowhere for you to park normally. So that's why the tennis courts are kind of there. And that's the pathway to the tennis courts. There's a little pathway to get down there. Okay. So we're at the point where it's your questions, and we're here for questions. This is called the capsize, just if anyone wants to know. The boats do capsize. It's part of sailing. It's actually one of the things that we teach them how to get the boats up. And here they're doing what's called the scoop recovery method. One kid gets on the centerboard. That's the kid in the sun. And then one kid gets at the bottom and then gets scooped into the boat as the boat kind of rights itself back up. Um, so, and eventually they start doing this all the time. They want to capsize just because it's fun. Um, so you can see the beach club in the back in the cove. There's some sailing happening in the cove. But this is kind of the general operation. So yeah, so I'm here for anybody's questions.
Which
And
classes will Dante be instructing?
Dante's actually instructing the junior big boat. His main classes he's doing are at MPYC in the morning, and in the afternoon he's doing junior big boat. And if you
So he
want,
won't be with any of the younger groups?
he won't be with any of the younger groups. You'll have
Okay.
Lily, who's super good with kids, and Jimmy. I don't know if you've met Jimmy. He hasn't been at our club specifically, but Jimmy's like super energetic and the kids love him. And so he's like a really super fun person to be around. So yeah. So we got about 10 minutes left in like Q&A. So feel free to ask questions. Doesn't mean that Dante won't be around. It's just that he'll be mostly junior big boat.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So my son has a wetsuit, but it has a hood on it that's attached. Is that not a good idea for him to wear a hooded wetsuit?
Um,
Would it be, I
First
mean, you can pull
answer,
it down, but
yeah.
if it's better to have one without?
I think it's, well, my first thought is better to have it without because I don't want something like, yeah, he can have it down, but I don't want something to like pull his neck, you know?
Okay,
Like, so my recommendation is he could wear it, but my recommendation is probably one without is probably the best
okay,
option
thank you.
for him.
And then should we pack them snacks or do you guys provide snacks?
Only one day do we provide snacks.
Okay,
Most of the days we do not provide snacks. So
Okay.
pack them snacks. Um, Simple things, easy to, do.
okay.
Nothing crazy.
At the end of the week, will there be a sort of where the parents come watch and
Yeah, so that's
award ceremony or whatever?
yeah, so the what you're seeing is actually an award ceremony on the screen.
Okay.
So race 101. Oh, I did a thumbs up. Race 101 and Junior Big Boat won't have like a thing like that. Youth Water Sports does. Youth Water Sports, they get kind of a participation award. And then they get these like fun little awards that the instructors make that are kind of custom to those kids each week and what they see in their kid. Maybe your kid's really talkative, so they get like the talkative award, or your kid likes to swim a lot, so they get the Swedish Fish Award. So that's like water sports. So definitely for water sports, your learn to sail programs and your morning programs, they'll get participation certificates, but they don't necessarily get the like individualized award or like naming because the instructors aren't in the boats with them as much and get to like spend like you're in water sports, your instructor is spending so much time with your kid. So they really get to know their personalities. Where the other ones, they're like sailing with a buddy and they're following in a powerboat basically and giving instruction. So yes and no is the answer to that. Thanks, great for information. Excited for the summer. These kids are rolling up sails at the end of the day, putting them away. Obviously, this was taken in COVID. So yeah, feel free to ask any questions.
So it starts at 9:30. What time should we drop them off at?
On 9:30.
Oh, at 9:30? Okay.
Yeah. The instructors are there at 9. So if there's a point at which you gotta like you need that like extra time, the instructors will be there. But they're not necessarily there to sit like have they're getting boats ready, they're getting their lesson plans ready for the day. They're setting up class. So your kid will be watched, it just won't be like they won't be entertained, I guess is the right word.
So my grandson will be here, and I think he's 8 years old, so he would be in the youth water sports.
Yep.
And he'll only be here for a week during the summer, so it's okay to just if it was in the middle of the summer, to just jump in there on a Monday. And
Yeah, youth water sports is 1 week, and it's the same thing every week for 8 weeks.
okay,
And most of the programs are set up that way. So if you took 2 beginner classes, it's kind of set up that way. Since we have low count, like good instructor ratio, we can tailor things. But water sports is definitely set up to just show up on Monday and oh, and I didn't really explain how water sports works, but normally Monday is more focused on sailing, learning parts of the boat, doing that. And then Tuesday we do kayaking and sailing. And then Wednesday is paddleboard and sailing. Thursday is this really cool adventure to kayak to this private beach that you can only get to kayaking. Super fun, and they have all this beach time and super cool thing. And then Friday, we call it Choose Your Own Adventure. It's kind of where we do kind of all 3 things based on what the kids liked the most. So it's kind of a unique day that kind of lets the kids kind of take control a little bit, just a little bit. So yeah. So good question. We got about 4 minutes left. So if you're itching to ask a question, it's about time to ask that question.
thank you. We're very, very thorough.
Thanks. Sorry if it went fast.
That's fine.
Yeah, and if you have friends, it's always a good idea to try and have friends come along. It makes the adventure even that much more fun for your grandchildren or your son or daughter. So pass the word along. And yeah.
Bradley, this is Jessica Thompson. I have a quick question. I know I'd asked you this via email, and I think I signed up for the thing you recommended, but Henry Darnton is my son. He's been a couple of summers, and he's done the Learn to Sail, I think twice, and the OptiDev. And I asked you what would be the best thing to put him in. I think I did the right thing, but I wasn't 100% sure when I looked at the options. Do I need to double check that with you, or will you kind of right size it when he shows up to like what's the best?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. We definitely will stick kids where they need to go, no matter what, at the end of the day. But it sounds like he needed to sign up for the CFJ development class. He's kind of at
I
that.
think that's what I did.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
kind
great.
of the best spot for you. But we'll always figure out where you are or your child's at and put them in the right class.
Great, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, 2 minutes left. Sometimes the water sports people get to go out on this really big, like 36-foot boat on Fridays. And they sail over to like Point Lobos and get to see the shoreline. And That's pretty fun too. So that's what's on the left side. But yeah. Okay. Any last kind of small questions that people have? It's okay to be individualized if you have a specific question of maybe what you can say what your kid or grandkid is kind of where their level is. I can give thoughts on where to place them. That's fine too. Cool. All right, so we're gonna wrap up here. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Either Bon, who was on this call, or myself will respond and get you all the information you need or provide any guidance that you need. So thanks for hopping on, guys, and I can't wait to spend some time with you during summer. And well, your kids.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Yep. Wow. Bye.